Live Free TV with Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Brought to you by the American Constitutional Rights Union. Today's episode, Who Do Leftists Represent? Live Free.
Hey, greetings everyone. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West here, the Executive Director of the American Constitutional Rights Union and the ACRU Action Fund. And welcome to another episode of Live Free TV, brought to you by the American Constitutional Rights Union. The Constitution is really an incredible document if you follow it, if you read it, if you understand it. This whole thing about illegal immigration should have never happened because it is clearly articulated in Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution, known as the Guarantee Clause, two things that the federal government, the United States, that means the federal government, is supposed to guarantee to every state in the union. Number one, a Republican form of government, not Republican Party, Republican form of government. Because America is a constitutional republic, that means the respect and honoring of individual rights, freedoms, and liberties, and the adherence to our rule of law, which, again, that's the Constitution. The second thing that the Guarantee Clause, Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution talks about is prevent, guarantee every state in the union is safe from invasion. Just chapter and verse, that's the word. So when all of a sudden you allow millions of people to come into this country illegally, and especially single military age males, non-state, non-uniform, belligerent actors. Just remember that clip of those single military age males storming the border in El Paso, Texas, overrunning Texas National Guard members who, I don't know why they were not armed. That's the actual depiction of an invasion. And then they disperse out throughout the country. Now, those are the people that you know about. Those are the people you see. But there are some 1.5 to 2 million. That was the top number estimate of these quote unquote gotaways, the people that are out there in the far West Texas or far, desert in Arizona, the individuals that don't want to be detected. They wear carpeting on the bottom of their shoes so they cannot be tracked. You go out and you talk to the Border Patrol and law enforcement folks in the Big Bend sector out there, that mountainous region of West Texas, Brewster County, been out there quite a few times. That's where you get some really bad actors. What type of bad actors am I talking about? Check out this clip.
The Big Weekend Show has been keeping track of cases where illegal immigrants are being charged with crimes related to the rape and assault of women and children.
Corey Alvarez was arrested and charged with raping a 15-year-old disabled girl.
Minar Steven de Paz Munoz, detained but released with a notice to appear. Arrested for the rape of a child.
Prosecutors have charged a Senegalese illegal immigrant with raping a woman on a park bench. Border Patrol says they arrested this child rapist after he crossed illegally. The Nicaraguan illegal immigrant has been charged with raping a woman at knife point. The illegal immigrants charged in the rape and murder of Maryland mother Rachel Morin, the rape and kidnapping of a 13-year-old girl in New York, and the strangulation murder of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary.
A judge hands down a guilty verdict to the man convicted of killing 22-year-old Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. ICE says Ibarra is a Venezuelan in the country illegally.
And that's only a fraction of it. At least 16 states have reported similar crimes committed by migrants who illegally crossed into the country under the Biden administration. But Democrats have been vowing to resist Trump's deportation efforts.
Would the Massachusetts State Police assist in mass deportations?
No, absolutely not. We are not cooperating with those efforts that actually threaten the safety of everyone by causing widespread fear.
We're not going to cooperate. We're not going to ask our police force to serve as ICE agents.
We're going to have to lead a much larger movement against this future president. The city of Los Angeles will not participate in any collaboration with ICE.
So, in other words, the stance that the left has taken, even after their electoral defeat last November, is that we're going to continue to harbor people that are in this country illegally and committing crimes against American people. I find it interesting that, the mayor of Boston talks about fear-mongering. I think that you should be afraid of individuals allowed into this country that are raping, killing, assaulting women. And one of the stories that wasn't even covered there was the criminal illegal immigrant who set a woman on fire in a subway in New York City. How does anyone in their right mind stand up and say that we're going to advocate for these individuals? We're not going to work with the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, a federal law enforcement agency that is there to make sure that our streets are cleared of people that are here illegally, which is a crime, first and foremost, coming into this country illegally. But then on top of that, they're committing other crimes. These people are presenting a domestic and national security threat to everyday Americans. And see, that's one of the reasons why the ACRU, the American Constitutional Rights Union, created the Defender Initiative, because we're going to go out and we're going to recognize and we're going to commend those law enforcement agencies and officers that are working with ICE under the 287G program. They're doing what law enforcement is supposed to do. And so when I look at the mayor of Chicago saying, no, we're not going to have our police do their job. In other words, what these individuals are saying, and the gentleman from Los Angeles, we're happy to expose the American people to a criminal element, not just a criminal element, but an illegal criminal element, to include what has now been determined a terrorist organization like Trinidad. And oh, by the way, now we have a spin-off of Trinidad that's been reported online that is calling itself Anti-Trend, and it's seeking to target rural communities in the United States of America. First and foremost, probably not a good idea to show up in rural communities where they're a lot more tight-knit, harder for you to assimilate in, and they believe in the Second Amendment. But this is what is happening. And for the life of me, I cannot understand why people believe, and they're not using that operative word, illegal immigrant, criminal illegal immigrant. They're just saying immigrants. And why should they not be deported? This whole argument about people that are here criminally, illegally, committing crimes, due process, their due process was that they have already been met or gone before judges, and they had these detainers put on them. They've had a due process, like the gentleman that was deported back to El Salvador, that Senator Chris Von Hollen, for whatever reason, he considers him one of his constituents, and the guy's an El Salvadoran citizen. But yeah, he didn't say anything about Rachel Moore in her case, where she was killed by a criminal illegal immigrant. We just saw recently in New Jersey where a mayor of Newark, New Jersey, and several members of the United States House of Representatives, if you want to go and conduct oversight, you have a means by which you can have someone appear before you in a committee of jurisdiction of the Capitol Hill, or you can ask for an appointment to come by and check on this Delaney Hall detention facility. But instead, no, they just tried to storm it, to include assaulting federal law enforcement officers. I mean, the body cam footage clearly shows that. Now, why do you need to go in and conduct oversight over people that, number one, are here illegally, crime. Number two, they've committed crimes since they've been here. Child rapists, murderers, terrorist organization members, MS-13. Is this who the left sees as their constituency? I mean, they can't vote for you. Oh, well, hold on. You would like for them maybe to vote for you. Maybe that's why you allowed them to come in. But let's look at these. Let's play Let's Make a Deal. And we're going to start off with our first contestant in door number one. Go.
Nome must step down. And we can't give one more dollar to this administration to continue its unconstitutional, anti-immigrant, authoritarian agenda. I will close with this. Today, Trump, Nome, and the administration have made the immigrants the enemy. Tomorrow, it will be whoever they deem undesirable.
Unconstitutional anti-immigrant agenda. These folks are here illegally. I mean, we just went through some of them. I mean, these are people that pose a threat to us, our safety and security. There's nothing unconstitutional. As a matter of fact, it is everything that is constitutional. Now, I know some people out there saying, man, but Colonel, they should have due process. Okay, if you are someone that has come into this country illegally, okay, and you're a member of the terrorist organization, let's say ISIS, Taliban, Hamas, Hezbollah, you're committing crimes against people. You're plotting a terrorist attack. You're not a citizen. You're here illegally. What due process should you have? You don't have any constitutional rights. The only constitutional right you have is the right to be removed from this country in the most expeditious manner. But again, notice how this member of Congress who's supposed to, support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, first and foremost, she wants to fire the current Secretary of Homeland Security. Where was she when we had Alejandro Mayorkas, the previous Secretary of Homeland Security, lying to the American people? The border is secure. The border is secure. Most secure border ever. I think we don't even see any incidents along our border on TV now. What, 97% decrease, 98% decrease of illegal crossings? People got the memo. But yet, they want to have the person that's now in charge of DHS removed. So what do they want? They want a Mayorkas type to just say, hey, just come on in. I'll lie to you in all of my oversight hearings. You want to talk about oversight? Where was the oversight for the past 4 years when it came to Homeland Security? And excuse me, Congresswoman, you forgot to say criminal illegal immigrants. The people that come here legally, that are doing the right things, they're not exactly happy about folks that could just circumvent the system, and you want them to stay here. Okay, let's go to contestant number 2.
These are not deportations. They are government-enforced disappearances. They are illegal. They are horrific. They are the tactics of a dictatorship, not a democracy. We cannot let them get away with this. This is the red line they cannot be allowed to cross.
Here we go again. Red lines. Reminds me of Obama. So much for that red line. Oh, and Hakeem Jeffries has all of a sudden issued his red line because he believes that, members of his party should be able to go and assault federal law enforcement agents and not be held accountable, not have charges brought against them. We don't want this administration crossing my red line. Well, they should be arrested, just like that mayor of Newark was. But Peter, Mr. Tonko, who I did serve with, illegal government enforced disappearances. We all know where they are. They're back in their native countries. Those that, some of down there in El Salvador, we got pictures of them. These are not illegal government enforced disappearances. First of all, they came into the country illegally. So why is it that the left continues to advocate for people that are here illegally committing crimes against the American people, heinous crimes? Those 2 individuals that killed a 12-year-old girl, strangled her, left her body in the bayou under a bridge in Houston, Texas. Representative Tonko, I mean, are these the type of people that you think should remain here in the United States of America? The guy who killed Jocelyn Nungery, a nursing student at the University of Georgia, let's just let him stay instead of going after them and getting them out of here. I mean, I don't understand who these people see as their constituency. A dictatorship? Dictators do things to usurp and undermine the rights of a citizenry. These people aren't citizens here in the United States of America, so how can it be a dictatorship if we're deporting them out of this country? Let's go to contestant number 3.
I rise today in strong opposition to President Trump's unlawful and unjust deportations to El Salvador. Earlier this year, the administration invoked the Alien Enemies Act, an 18th century wartime statute to deport 137 Venezuelan men to a notorious prison abroad. This archaic law is being exploited to bypass our immigration system and deny individuals their most basic legal protections. These deportations were not based on convictions or due process. They were based on ancestry and suspicion. Tattoos misidentified, affiliations assumed, rights ignored.
Based upon ancestry and tattoos and traditions. 137 Venezuelan men. That sounds very innocuous, kind of like the El Salvadoran. He's a Maryland man. He's a dad. Yeah, okay. Why not say 137 Trinidad members? Why not say 137 non-state, non-uniform belligerents who illegally came into the country, members of a terrorist organization that are committing acts of crime and violence against the American people? Why not say that? Why mislead the American people? And this is, again, a member of the United States House of Representatives. The 1798 Alien Enemies Act has two words that apply to what is happening here: predatory incursions. These individuals have come into this country illegally, and they are conducting predatory incursions against the American people. Oh, maybe it should be just like what's the Martha Raddatz said to then vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance. It's just a couple of apartment buildings. No big deal. Let them have them. Let them come in, and I don't know how they're getting weapons, but yet the left wants to go after the Second Amendment right of legal law-abiding citizens, but they seem not to care about these people that are here illegally getting weapons. But let them have a couple of apartment buildings. It's okay. So what if they go out and they've raped and killed, a few, American women? It's just 16 states where this has happened. We got 34 other states. So it's fine. Everything's good. See, how can we have these type of quote unquote legislators, federal lawmakers who don't understand the law? And furthermore, they're supposed to have taken an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, and they completely dismiss it. Why? Because their ideological agenda of open borders is more important to them than your safety and security. See, the left, this group calling themselves the Democrat Party, they don't stand for our Constitution. They've repeatedly shown that over and over. But this issue here, without a doubt, is the most glaring example of their delusion, their disregard of our rule of law. For them, America is not a sovereign nation. It's just a piece of ground in between Mexico, Canada, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. Just come on in. Do whatever you want. We're not going to question you. Oh, just come on in. Kill Americans. You get to stay. We'll put you up in our prisons and we'll take care of you. We won't execute you. Let me tell you something. If you are here as a non-state, non-uniform belligerent, if you are here as a single military-aged male illegally in the United States of America, and you commit an act of violence against an American citizen, sorry. Death penalty. That's not you get to stay for the rest of your life in an American prison. If you want to go to prison, go to El Salvador. And there's no disappearance. There's no illegal government enforced disappearance. There's no dictatorship. This is about protecting the sovereignty of the United States of America. And as far as I know, the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, it has never been revoked. So we still should be securing our country and protecting our citizens from predatory incursions, two very important words in Section 1 of the Alien Enemies Act. So again, we here at the American Constitutional Rights Union, we just want to do what's right by the Constitution, by the American people. And there are law enforcement agents, I live here in Dallas County, that refuse to do what is right. And so, in other words, they're putting me at risk by allowing a sanctuary and a safe harbor for criminal illegal immigrants. And yet the people of that same political inclination will try to undermine my ability to protect myself by way of the Second Amendment, which says that a well-regulated militia means well-trained, just all of us, being necessary for the security of a free state. That's what it means. Each and every one of us has a responsibility for securing our state, our nation, as part of that well-regulated militia. Therefore, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So these same individuals that want to stand up and advocate for people that are here illegally and committing crimes against the American people are the exact same individuals that want to undermine your ability to safeguard yourself from them. We here at the ACRU will not stand for that. And we will call out those law enforcement agencies and officials that don't believe that they should enforce the law, that they exist to just enforce their ideological agenda. So please visit us at theacru.org, learn more about the Defenders Initiative, and learn more. Maybe check out C-SPAN every now and then and see what people who are so-called federal legislators are giving speeches about. Because some of it should absolutely frighten you. God bless. We'll see you next time on another episode of Live Free TV.